going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. We are back here again. Today we are checking out the Nissan Z Nismo. This is a 2024 model and it's coming out about 2 years after the new Nissan was released, the new Nissan Z. So this is an all-around sports car that's supposed to be reasonably obtainable. Now this is going above the performance trim of the base model. So this is the Nismo, meaning their sport enhanced model. So what you're getting is upgraded power, upgraded handling, and essentially upgraded cooling and a more rigid chassis. So let's go ahead and start off with the front of the vehicle, talk a little bit about the design and the power characteristics. We'll talk lightly about the design since we've already reviewed this car twice. So right off the bat up front, the first thing we're going to notice here is a revised grille, which is more than welcome. In my opinion, this grille on the Nismo package looks way better than this rectangular grille on the base model. So it looks more inviting, it looks more aggressive, it looks like the grille that they should carry on with as the standard model going forward. Will they do that? I don't know. So that larger grille, of course, is going to mean you're going to get more cooling in this model. So that's one of the benefits of the Nismo package. You're getting more cooling and even a larger oil cooler. So it's going to help increase that performance. Now, underneath the hood, what we're looking at is a 3-liter twin turbocharged V6. Likewise with the previous model, but this one has been massaged to crank out a little bit more horsepower for you. You're getting 420 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 9-speed automatic transmission, which shifts twice as fast as in the standard car. Now, for an enthusiast like myself, I would have loved to have an option to have a manual transmission in this vehicle. I personally think that's a miss. Is this vehicle still fun to drive? Absolutely. But I think a lot of people who are shopping for a vehicle like this one, a 2-seater performance coupe, they're going to want that manual transmission. So 0 to 60 comes in about 4 seconds. Some people have got it down in a little bit less. But overall, the engine, again, reworked to give you a little bit more horsepower, 420 overall. They've done things to revise the ignition timing as well. So it's just a little bit more geared towards that track performance, which is why you're getting a revised oil cooler. You don't want to be on the track and then have your oil temperature go higher than you want it to go. So that's why they took a look at that. Now, overall from the front, you'll notice that we do have some red accents that start at the front and go all the way around the car. Up front, we do have a red splitter and some canards up there. That's going to help increase that downforce on the front axle. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on this car. With cars like this, you really have to have respect for them. Now, I know a lot of times you're going to see a bunch of teens, 20-year-olds, and maybe 30-year-olds driving this car, but you really need to have respect for it. It is rear-wheel drive, and it is easy to light up that rear axle, especially on these high-performance GT Max tires, right? These Dunlop tires, they almost remind me of slicks a little bit, and I get these cars when the road surface temperature is a little cold, so I'm not going to go too hard in the paint. Maybe they'll invite me to one of these Nissan events where I can really just push this car to its limits, but on a road surface temperature like what we had this morning, I'm not going to wrap myself around the tree trying to demonstrate, what this car is capable of. And as you guys can probably hear, the car does sound nice. Right now, making our way to the side profile, what we have is larger wheels. So we have 19-inch wheels that are done in gloss black. You also have larger rotors. You have 15-inch rotors up front, grasped by 4 piston calipers, and the rear you're looking at 13.8-inch rotors. So everything is larger and beefier, and you even have those beefier tires as well. Now, of course, you do have a limited slip differential. This is a performance vehicle. That is an absolute must, in my opinion. Now, as far as the chassis has been stiffened up a bit. There's bracing all over this car. You have the bracing from the standard car, which is this brace here and the brace underneath the hood, but there's also additional bracing to help firm up the chassis right? The chassis stiffness has been increased by 2.5%. And quite frankly, you'll have to be a really seasoned driver to be able to notice the difference. Suspension has also been stiffened up a bit. Is this a car that you could daily? It truly depends on who you are, because you are able to feel every single bump in the road in this vehicle. This car does sound nice. I'm not even gonna lie. It sounds absolutely amazing. So granted that this chassis or this platform that this new Z is riding on is 20 years old, let's be honest. This came out around 2003, this platform, and you're dealing with a powertrain that's probably roughly, 10 years old. Part of that is because the way the market is. With everybody going towards SUVs and trucks, how much is it worth it for a company to invest hundreds of millions in creating a new platform, new R&D for a niche sports car like this one? All right, so that question has to be asked. Is the car fun to drive? Yes. But did a whole bunch of R&D go into it? Probably not. Like I said in the first review, you'll notice there's a lot of carryover parts from the 370 and this new model. And part of the reason is to make the car affordable to people who can't, buy a Porsche 911 or a Porsche Boxster, but also to allow Nissan to come out with the next generation of the Z car, right? It's not economical for them to drop millions of R&D into a product that is geared towards just the enthusiast market. So speaking of the side profile, my favorite part about this vehicle, well, two favorite features. The roof line. I like how it slopes back. You do have to watch your head when getting in and out of this vehicle because you could bump your head on this. But I also like the rear haunches. The hips on this car just looks like it's ready to jump. And I love that about the look right over those rear wheels. That looks absolutely amazing to me. Those hips on this car, it's the chef's kiss to the design on this one. Now coming towards the back, LED tail lamps, as you would expect. If you're familiar with your Zs, you know that the tail lamps pay homage to the 300 ZX that came out in the 90s. That is one of my favorite cars. It is an absolute beast. Just a true raw sports car. So I love how they paid homage there. Of course, you do get those red accents going along the rear of the vehicle as well. Same on the side profile, and it carries all the way out to the front like we had discussed earlier. This car is definitely a head turner. People have stopped me everywhere asking about it. People are just amazed at the design. They just love the way it looks. A lot of people say, oh, this reminds me of a car that came out when I was in college. So while you're at the back, you'll notice that you do have a Nismo rear spoiler there. And that serves a purpose. It's not just there for good looks. That is going to put some downforce on that rear axle. Like I said, this is a rear wheel drive sports car. So you really want that downforce there. And like I said, it is easy to get this car to slide from underneath you. You really have to know your limits. I love that way that exhaust sounds. Sounds absolutely amazing. The burbles and the cracks just sounds so amazing. All right, so let's talk about the interior a little bit. The interior is a little bit different from the base model or the performance model. As I'm sure you noticed, you have these sport seats. They're way more aggressive than what's found in the regular model, right? So you'll notice it says Nismo. We have red accents here, and you have Dynamica to keep you from sliding around. This is supposed to be something you want to take on some switchbacks. So to stop you from sliding around, you have aggressive side bolstering and a good use of Dynamica as well. Now, the seats are fairly stiff. You know what this car is about when you're getting into it, right? This isn't, sports car 101. When you see one of these, You should know what you're getting into. So it's not designed for comfort being the first priority, which is a good thing. If you want to track this, these seats are more than capable of serving up to that task. Now, I will say, I do wish the seats were heated, because instead I have these blank buttons here in the center console where the heated seat controls would be in the other models. So I do wish these seats were heated. Coming to the top of the dash, we have those 3 gauges. Classic, typical Nissan Z design. We have wireless Apple CarPlay. The Android Auto is wired, however. Coming lower, we have 3 knobs here for your climate controls. And then we do have space for wireless charging, even though there isn't a wireless charger here. Would love to see wireless charging incorporated into the center console. We have an anodized red button for your start stop and your drive mode selector as well. Love the red touches in the vehicle. Goes well with the seats, goes well with the steering wheel that has this 12 o'clock red notch there. Now the gauges, those are configurable depending on what mode you have it in. There's a mode that looks a little bit more aggressive than what I have going on there, but I do like the red accents overall. The steering wheel does have Dynamica inserts on the side. I kind of wish the steering wheel was a flat bottom steering wheel for easier ingress and egress, but that's just my preference. Definitely not a deal breaker, right? So overall, the interior has a little bit of minor touches here and there to separate the Nismo model from the previous model. Nothing drastically different, but you know, for those who know this car, you see the Nismo badging up front and you see the Nismo badging in the rear of the vehicle. And I usually don't go for black cars, but the black on this car, it really looks good. Typically, black on cars often hides the lines, but the design language on this car is just so drastic and sharp. The black truly suits it well, other than the fact that it's hard to keep clean, right? I did have this for a few days in the rain, so you're not going to get the crispiest B-roll, of the cleanest car out there. I wanted to drive this and enjoy it, and I put that as a priority above giving you guys some crispy B-roll of a car that looks like it just had ceramic coating put on it, right? I'm going to enjoy this while I have it. So that's just that. So pricing for this one, you're looking at about $65,000 for this. Is it cheap? No, but there are a lot of other cars out there that serve this same purpose and fit in the same bracket that cost a lot more. They definitely cost a lot more. Now, again, I understand that this is about a 20-year-old platform, so that might weigh on people who are looking to buy this vehicle, but I'm not going to take away from the fact that it's a fun and exciting car to drive. You got the launch control if you want to do that, but if you just want to take it out and drive and listen to that exhaust, this is truly a fun car, and it's a good looking car at that. So let me know what your thoughts about this one in the comment section. The performance model of the Z, the Nismo, the exhaust, I just can't get enough of it. I don't know if they tuned the Nismo exhaust specifically for this vehicle, or if it sounds the same on all of them all across. I have to listen to the base model Z again to get a feel for that, but the exhaust definitely sounds nice, and I'm sure people can hear it outside of the vehicle just as well as I can hear it inside this car. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Ben Wayne, the automotive reviewer that YouTube deserves. I'll catch you guys in the next one.